Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which in an unexpected and unlikely turn of events, my Pat McGrath Holiday order has arrived within a week. Who could have foreseen this? Not me, not Mystic Meg. No one could have. So we're going to get to take a look at the beauties that I picked up from Pat McGrath's holiday collection. I'm going to do some swatches and try this big number out on my eyes today. So if you're interested in seeing my initial thoughts, how everything looks swatched in a bit more realistic fashion than on Pat's own website, then keep watching. So no one's flabbers were more ghasted than my flabbers when this arrived today, okay? I've already got a date day planned with my husband, so unfortunately I can't do like a 10 looks, one palette. There just isn't the time, okay? We're in a rush, people. We're off to see Joker. I'm very excited, and we're gonna have some chicken and enjoy a film together. So all I have time for today is swatches and a look. But if you want more looks, if you want me to demonstrate the mini duo that I picked up on my eyes as well, then please let me know in the comment section. What would you like? Would you like a 5 looks video with this big daddy palette, or would you like another one featuring the green gold duo? Let me know. Tell me. What do you want? Okay, I'm here for you. Now, before we dive into the swatches, I think we know by now most of the info on these palettes. But a quick recap if you didn't watch my breakdown, my Will I Buy It video on this collection specifically. This is the Big Daddy Holiday palette this year that I was always going to pick up. It will set you back 71 English pounds. But the surprise for me, not for some of you were very confident that you thought this palette was going to be Italian made and not US made, and you were right. You were right. There's no prize. I'm so sorry. But other than pride and smugness that you can have, because you're right, it is made in Italy, as are the duos. Now, on launch day, if you remember in my video, I said that I was going to get the green and gold duo and also the rose gold duo. For some reason, when launch happened, I just didn't buy the rose gold one. I don't know why or what happened, what changed in my brain chemistry, but I just didn't buy it. And I can't explain why, but I guess my brain overrode my thought that I needed it. I don't know. But the other item I did pick up is the Celestial Jade duo. That's the green gold duo. This will set you back 24 English pounds and also made in Italy. We love to see it. Already this is going better than we thought it was going to. I think, as we already discussed, you guys know this is all limited edition, this entire collection, but it's all still sat there a week after launch. Gone are the days where Pat McGrath sold out in a day. It's all still sat there. So let's unbox these palettes, take a close-up look and do some swatches. So here we have Celestial Jade in that holiday packaging, has the shades on the back, and if you have very beady eyes, you'll be able to see made in Italy. And there are 2 grams of product in here, 1 gram per shadow. And here is the palette inside. Again, shade names are on the back, made in Italy, and a 14-month shelf life. And here is that little duo. Bear in mind, I have already done swatches in the garden for my Instagram, so they might look slightly more haggard than you would expect if you are opening yours fresh. They do feel beautifully silky, these shadows, and the pigment is going for days gliding across my hand there, which is not what we've maybe come to expect from Pat's holiday launches. Typically they feel a bit drier, they're US made. This is more what we're talking about, isn't it? Gorgeous. And then here is the large holiday palette, same exact, very festive, very loud packaging. And here we have the internal packaging. Shade names are all on the back, and you can see my palette has already got a little scratched, and this was literally just from me doing swatches this morning. It's already got rather battered, I would say. And here is the inside. So many options in here. I can't wait to play with this. It looks so pretty. So I'm going to swatch the larger palette one row at a time because it's a lot of shadows to fit on one arm and then somehow get that entire arm into the camera without it being, you know, a serious struggle. So we're going one row at a time. This is the top row. Beautiful shadows, everything swatched, one swipe, one swirl. This first shade was quite sort of loose and crumbly, not one to swirl a brush in, I would say. Here is the middle row and probably the one that's exciting me the most. These two shadows, get them straight on my eyes, please, I beg you. They are so pretty. Everything feels amazing. Quality-wise, I don't think we're going to have a problem here. And here we have the bottom final row. These shadows are swatching incredibly well, let me tell you. I'm doing a bit of a swirl, nothing dramatic, and then, you know, one swipe on bare skin, no primer, no nothing, to help the shadows, and look at that pigmentation. Silky. This blue has a little sort of larger sparkles in it than the other shadows. It's a bit more glittery. Beautiful quality in here. So this has got me excited. Let's dive into this large number and have a little play with it. I cannot wait. I'm just gonna clip the hair out the way. Okay, so I'm starting off with this little number. This is Rose Afterglow, I believe. It's hard to know which way around they are. Wow, okay, so pigment is there. It's not lacking, but it blended beautifully. I'm using my Sonia G Holiday brush from last year, the large fluffy number. You know, I love Pat McGrath's shadows and I think they're amazing quality, particularly her Italian-made shadows, but her mattes have always been the sort of my least favourite formula. Typically her shimmers are, you know, what we love, what she's known and loved for, and her mattes have sometimes been a bit sort of more like pigments, you know, so they can be a little trickier to blend for a blending novice such as myself. Like, blending is not my favourite or the thing that I'm the best at, but these seem like they're blending really easily. They seem quite buildable as well. You know, I've used this very lightly with a nice light fluffy brush and been able to get, you know, a really nice soft subtle wash of colour, which I like because we've only got a few mattes in here. I would have liked a few more. We've only got a few, so it's helpful if they're a bit, you know, adaptable, if you can sort of build them up or use them lightly. It just gives you a bit more options from the mattes. So I'm going to use this dark brown now and my fluffier, smaller T5. I'm hoping I can use this. Yes, I can. Not so dramatically, which is great because that's swatched so rich. So we know it can be super rich if you build it up and you want something really smoky, but I've also been able to use it. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. A little lighter. I've had an absolute, I swear I've had a cold since my children started back at school, which is so typical, isn't it? They get back among all the germies. Those reception children are a different breed, bringing in all their new germs for everybody, and I've literally had a cold ever since. Those poor teachers, I swear. We had our Meet the Teacher sessions the first week, and literally none of them had a voice, those poor people. What hope do they have, you know, living in that germ-infested environment? Okay, well that also blended like a dream. As usual, I can't really see what I'm doing because my mirror is so far away when I'm doing eyeshadow on camera. But, and also it's dirty, I'm not going to lie to you. It's also really smudgy. Polish, that helps. I can almost see myself now. Yeah, those have blended really beautifully. And I mean, you know, if you're looking for something super versatile, this palette, you know, it's going to do daytime looks. You can do something like this and just leave it just with the mattes, or do a sort of more subtle shimmer quite lightly on the lid, and that's going to be, you know, super office friendly, daytime friendly, minimal friendly. So far, so good. Whenever I get to this point when I'm filming eyeshadow, I wish I had done my eyes first, because I'd like to be able to clean up the edges. Oh, darn me. So what I really, my heart and soul are crying out for me to use this shade, because this is like a bit of me. This is Sable Seductress. I mean, literally got my name on it. This shade as well, Celestial Cerulean. Loving the names, but I feel like you guys are going to be more interested in like this shade and this shade, so I'm going to force myself against my will to use those. Don't say I would never do anything for you. I dare you. So I'm using my Sonia G builder, and we're going to start using that mermaid blue, green, turquoise, whatever name you would love to give it, shade. You know, so far I'm really not getting fallout from these shadows. I'm not using any damp brushes. I've, as usual, primed my lid with concealer and set with powder, so I'm not using an eyeshadow primer. So if you do any of those things, you know, damp brush, use a finger, use an eyeshadow primer like a good girl, then you will certainly get more impact. As it is, I'm just building it up slowly. I have not yet felt a single snowflake fall on my cheeks from this shadow, which is a good sign. They do seem sort of smooth and metallic, very creamy, these shadows. So far we're not getting a lot of fallout. I do think the sort of looser ones like the blue and the gold will have a bit more, but let's use a finger to see what that does. Yeah, you are going to get more impact from using a finger, but you know how much I literally hate touching stuff. Just sort of slapping this willy-nilly about the place, and we're going to deal with the mess later. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my T5 and that deepest matte brown, and I'm just going to marry up. If you've ever worked in a bar, you're probably having slight flashback nightmares right now. End of the night, marry up the bottles, everybody. Yep, we've all been there. Not my favourite job, but it was better than checking the bathrooms for drunk people, I'll tell you that for nothing. I feel like where I've sort of added the matte to sort of blend the matte and the shimmers together, it's sort of removed the blue, which worries me slightly, because if it's going to sort of budge just with, you know, a bit of a blend, I'm not sure how well it would wear throughout the day. If you have a problem with shadows wearing, like if you have especially oily skin or oily lids, just going to try and brighten the blue back up with my Rephr 21. So now we're going to move on to that stunning lilac, silvery lilac shade. Absolutely beautiful. This, I think we're going to get some fallout now, because it looks quite loose on my brush. Oh my god, do you see that? Wow, that is like molten. You know, it really wasn't as bad as I thought. There's a couple of flecks, sure, again, you know, dry brush, not recommended if you're trying to avoid fallout. There's really no, I thought this was going to be raining all over my cheeks, and it's really not. That shadow is stunning. That is like molten metal. So beautiful. I mean, imagine applying that with a wet brush. I just don't think you would need to. I mean, how much more metallic can it possibly get? So pretty, very mermaidy. This look now, isn't it? Just going to add a bit more blue, because I went a little over the border because I got so excited about that shade. Was so pretty. Very mermaidy. I love to see it. I love to see it. Now, of course, I wouldn't normally do this because we definitely have enough going on as it is, but I want to try a few more shadows. So I'm going to use this one in that inner corner. This is such a pretty shade. It's swatched so beautifully. I can't wait to use this. Another look. Gorgeous. Now I'm just going to use my pencil brush. This is Sonia G's T3, and I'm going to use the first matte that I used on my upper lid on this lower lash line. You can see definitely a few flecks of fallout, but really, given, you know, dry brush, I used some of the most impactful shades in here. Really not a lot at all, so I'm impressed by that. I wish I could tidy this up a bit easier on the outer edge because it's just not as neat as I would like it to be, but that's what happens when I do my eyelash. I can't clean it up and cheat with concealer. Yeah, you can just see a little bit of fallout here. Really not that dramatic given what's going on up top. So here is the finished look. I'm not being funny, it's glorious. I feel like a mermaid. It's so pretty. So pretty. It's colourful, but I would wear this, and I am wearing it as we speak. Gorgeous. I'm going to put some mascara on and then we'll show you the look with mascara. Okay, so a coat of Charlotte Tilbury mascara, and here is the finished look with mascara on. I love it. I flipping love it. Okay. Okay, so that went gloriously well. I really enjoyed playing with this palette today, and it probably went a lot better than I expected it to. You know, I expected the shadows to be less pigmented. I expected them to be less soft. I thought they'd be a bit more rough. I thought the mattes might be harder to blend, and I didn't expect them to be so easy to build and use however you would like them to. The shimmers, I mean, they swatched exceptionally well. They feel so silky and creamy, almost wet to the touch, and that really translated on the eye. I think the green, sort of aquamarine turquoisey shadow that I used initially is slightly disappointing. I think that's the only shadow that I was slightly disappointed with on the eye. I think it sort of blends away quite easily, and it was kind of not as intense on the eye as I thought it might be. And then that lilac in comparison is just outstanding. So beautiful, gleaming wet molten metal finish to it. Such a beautiful shadow, so pretty, and that just made the turquoise shade sort of seem inadequate in comparison, you know. So that maybe was slightly disappointing, but probably only in comparison to when I used that lilac afterwards. That shadow is stunning, and I'm very excited to use this shadow that I just sort of barely popped in the corner on my whole lid, because that looks very similar in intensity and formula to that lilac shade that I loved so much. I think this as well is that molten like effect, and then we have some gorgeous like rose gold that are just more like my usual colors, but I was able to get, you know, quite a colorful look for me today that still I really love and feels in my comfort zone and quite wearable. I think that's what these palettes from Pat for her holiday collections really do so well. They allow you to sort of play with color, but in a quite comfortable way. And there's a lot of shadows that even if you would never use color, like even like I did today, there are a lot of shades in there that are very wearable and a bit less scary. So I think you've got enough to play with, enough in your comfort zone, enough for every day, but you've got little pops to try when you're feeling a bit more brave or a bit more fun, you know, like pre-shower makeup as well. Experiment, play without the risk. So I'm super happy with this. I have no regrets. This is definitely my favorite of her large holiday palettes that she's done. I skipped them all together last year because I just felt like they all were becoming the same, very similar formulas. This one I think is far superior to the previous one she's done, being Italian made, the shades, the combinations. I love that we've gone back to, you know, a nice even rose. They're not all higgledy-piggledy with cheek products in there. That I like. It has a large mirror. It is the flat, flimsier sort of mirror, and we do have the cardboard packaging, but I like this for travel. I like this for storage, and it obviously is a lot more affordable price point than her motherships. So I'm really happy with this. I can't wait to use this green. You know, I love a green. I can't wait to use this little duo. Of course, I will show you more looks on my Instagram and more looks here. I've got a makeup and movies coming up, so I'll reuse either the large palette or the duo, depending on what you guys are most interested in seeing more looks with, in the comment section down below. So let me know what you think. So I'm so sorry we didn't have enough time for more looks today, but I hope you enjoyed this sort of initial first impressions. You got to see all the shades swatched and a good few in action. Please let me know whether you grabbed anything from this holiday collection, if you've got your eye on anything, if you're waiting for reviews. What are your thoughts? Please share in the comments section down below. But I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.